I have a lot of heroes. I have a lot of people who have been very good to me and who have inspired me. My first grade teacher, Sister Francis, is a hero to me. Mr. Bond is a hero to me. My mom is a hero to me. She was born during the Depression in a really difficult time, and she jokes about they were too poor to really be poor. There just was nothing. And to watch the life that she and my father have built together for themselves and for their kids and for their grandkids through really hard work and faith, that's, to me, it's very heroic. And both of my grandmothers, I was really fortunate. My grandmothers, I knew them into my 30s, and they died at 2 months shy of 100, and the other was 102. And they were tough cookies. Both of them were tough ladies. But they're heroes to me. One only had a 7th grade education, had to begin working and taking care of her younger siblings in the middle of West Virginia in, a very poor, difficult situation. She was married at 17 years old, had 7 children, and had a career which at that time they called them domestics, but she was a maid and she did laundry for other people. And, they didn't have indoor plumbing. They didn't have, all of her kids had 1 or 2 dresses. You take a bath once a week. I mean, a totally different way of thinking. But my grandmother was so smart financially. She figured out, you gather your money up and save it so you can buy a piece of property, because property helps you. You may not have fancy dresses, you may not have great shoes, you may not have jewelry, but if you own property, you're part of the establishment, you're part of the community. And I think that's an important lesson today that so many folks don't realize. It's not about your cars and your outfits and you've got, your Juicy Couture this and your Louis Vuitton that. Those things are all nice. And don't get me wrong, those are nice things to have. But if you don't own property, if you don't own your education, you don't need all that other stuff, because that other stuff doesn't last. She also believed in paying for life insurance so that when my grandfather died, she got a little something, but she kept up with those payments. So I think she was just really smart and savvy for someone with a 7th grade education. My other grandmother was a super tough cookie, and she actually went to college. She was a college graduate, which is so unusual back then. And her mother went to college. So they were considered very fortunate people, but she was a school teacher. And she, even though she was born and lived in the North, she went to the South to teach. And she believed so much in kids and in education, and that education was such a solution. But she was also this enterprising businesswoman. She eventually, after she left teaching, she and my grandfather bought a farm. They had a diner, they had a truck stop, they had a catering business. She was very entrepreneurial in her thinking. She was also someone who really believed in equality. So she was a part of what was called the Gray Panthers movement, which was an outbirth of the Black Civil Rights movement. So she really fought for senior citizens to have rights and to be respected, and was part of President Nixon's Commission on the Elderly, and really pushed for there to be senior citizen homes and communities, senior centers in places so that seniors could come together and not be so isolated. So it's kind of neat because both of my grandmothers are so different, but I feel like I have both of them inside of me, both that entrepreneurial spirit and thinking, trying to think smart about your money and your time, but also this idea of caring about justice and using education as a way of doing that. So those are some of my heroes. They're all kind of very different and broad. And then I have other people who've just been great mentors to me and great inspiration to me. I mean, all of my siblings have been really great folks for me to look up to, and for all the right reasons.